When you're looking for a complete home cleaning companion that doesn't break the bank, the Yeedi Vac 2 Pro could be considered a Google Home essential, but I'm going to tell you why. Thanks for watching 9 to 5 Google here on YouTube. Remember to thumbs up, hit subscribe and then tap the bell icon to be among the first to watch our upcoming videos. So how does this differ from other robot vacuums out there? Well, in simple terms, it doesn't. At least it doesn't all that dramatically or drastically. What it offers that many other robot vacuums don't though is a full cleaning system. That includes regular dust and dirt suction, a floor mopping feature and even a self-cleaning station, all for under $500. When compared to the rather excellent Roborock S7, which costs almost $700 without that self-cleaning dock, Yeedi's cheaper alternatives looks all the more enticing. Unlike many of the cheapest robotic vacuum cleaners, it doesn't just roll around in your home bumping into walls, furniture and other objects with no pre-planned route. Instead, it has sensors to detect any room boundaries with a bumper to prevent accidental collisions. You don't need to worry about denting your walls, taking chips out your furniture, or the Yeedi Vac 2 generally being a nuisance. There is a dedicated Yeedi app that you will need for the initial setup process and any added customization controls later down the line. It's functional and it works well for this base process, but does lack a little visual flair that we often associate with such applications. That isn't necessarily a negative, but the process of pairing with the Vac 2 Pro wasn't quite as seamless as I'd hoped it would be. It took a few attempts for everything to be set up correctly. I still don't know if that was an app issue or if an account issue on my end, but it is something to note. You may experience it for yourself and hopefully I can help you out with some advice of just trying it, keep going through, you will get eventually connected. When using that dedicated app though, you're able to do things like adjust and tweak a number of enhanced controls like the vacuum and mop water flow strength, selected area cleaning, plus add full cleaning procedures or schedules and room sequences to suit your personal preferences. I love the component lifespan tracker though. This is something that I'd love to see on more applications for smart home technology. It's a really great just to know how long a cleaning brush is expected to last before you need to consider replacing or even repairing it. Alongside the dedicated app, as with any good Google Home Essential, you can connect your Yeedi account and the Vac 2 Pro to your Google Home Assistant. As this isn't a first-party piece of hardware, you need to head into the Google Home app and link the Yeedi service to your account for it to appear as a device though in your smart home, and then you can tie it to a room in your house. Once it's assigned, voila, the Yeedi Vac 2 Pro is ready to be controlled fully using your voice. Those voice controls are still a little limited to what Google does allow, so asking your vacuum to say clean the kitchen might not work flawlessly unless you've added that room within the Yeedi control application. I just kept things simple when I used this throughout the months I've had it, and mostly used the start cleaning or just tell RoboVac, as I named it, to go home. In both instances, these worked very well with a very minor 2 to 3 second delay for the assistant to register my command and then seeing the Vac 2 Pro react accordingly. Once I had integrated with my home account and set up boundaries, I've solely used the system with the assistant just to start and stop the vacuum with no issues whatsoever. You're probably wondering though, how well does it clean? Well, just like any vacuum robot otherwise, the Vac 2 Pro lives and dies by its cleaning prowess. In my extended time using this and setting an automated cleaning period, it's a solid 7 out of 10 on the cleaning scale, I'd say. Sure, it won't quite match up to your existing manual vacuum cleaner with a little bit of elbow grease, but it offers an easy daily program that takes care of things while you're busy getting on with your daily life. I personally really like the mopping function though, and I think this is what sets it apart. It's by far the most impressive aspect. With someone with tiled and hardwood floors or hard floors, it buffs really nicely. That said, it still pales in comparison to a dedicated automated mopping solution like the Yeedi's own Mop Station Pro. That said, I tend to use that mop option quite sparingly, as vacuuming is a more important regular task with a pet that tends to cast hair and fur. That said, I've got nothing but good things to say about the mop add-on itself. I think it does a great job given that it is actually an extra accessory here, and it certainly helps as scrubbing floors is not exactly my idea of a fun task. Each cleaning pad is nice and thin and attaches via Velcro sections. As I was not exactly sold on the idea of these pads at first, I have to say they've been fine after a couple of months of use or a couple of months of fuller and thorough testing. The fact that these pads are actually reusable and machine washable is another great bonus, I think. This hasn't stopped me from picking up a spare set for under $20. This just means I can switch out the pads if a room is particularly filthy, Plus these pads will wear down over time and eventually you will need to replace them anyway. A recent update has also added a virtual no map zone that allows you to ring fence areas where you may have carpets and other obstacles. You can set multiple areas in your home and have the Vac 2 Pro just avoid them when vacuuming or mopping specifically, which means you won't get your carpets wet when it's running with the mop option attached. Previous automated vacuums I've used and have worked with Google Home Assistant include the impressive but long in the tooth Eufy 30C that have really struggled with floor obstructions and lacked mapping functionality. I've found that the vacuum roller can get stuck on half-chewed dog treats here, but most of the time I think it reaches most of those most used portions in my home without any major issues. It's also interesting to see a heat map that clearly outlines large obstacles in real time and is good because you can get an idea of what's standing in the way, move it or replace it or put it somewhere else where it's out of the way. The 0.45 litre bin, or nearly half a litre bin, on the underside of the Yeedi Vac 2 Pro does fill quite quickly if you let it, but the auto emptying functionality renders that a real non-issue. The base station has a 2.5 litre bag that you will need to replace every month or so if you run it every day, but that alone is perfect for those of us that often hate doing regular household chores anyway. As I'm sure many of you will agree, it's impressive and frustrating in equal measure at just how much dirt can accrue if you let it day to day. So when you consider the competition, the Yeedi Vac 2 Pro offers a pretty extensive cleaning package for almost half the price. It's not fully automated, given you do need to change that mopping pad and fill the water tank to do so, but that's a fair compromise I think for most situations. Yeedi's hybrid approach and neat mapping features are definitely reasons that I think it's a great addition to most homes, especially those with pets. An automated vacuum might not fully replace a real vacuum cleaner, and a little bit of elbow grease on top of that, but it's a good way to keep on top of two things if you're especially busy, and it just gives you that little bit of peace of mind that things are not getting too filthy day to day. I want to know though if you have tried out a robot vacuum cleaner of your own. I personally think this is a real home essential for me, a Google Home Essential, and I love using or having it automate itself day to day. Let me know what your favourites are down in the comment section below. Hopefully we can rekindle our Google Home Essentials series here on YouTube. But as always, until next time, this is Damien with 9to5 Google saying thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.